Now I wish I could give you good news about the engine, as I just got back from the engineers from the shop, but it's the worst case scenario. As you probably guessed, I've been busy off the camera, on and off camera, preparing my little DRZ for a full rebuild. I've been cleaning the parts, I've been painting the parts, I've been degreasing the parts. I've been doing the best I can to put this bike together in its best possible condition. Again, I'm not going super crazy on it, but once everything is apart, like let's say the brake pedal, you know, it's a really easy, you know, process to give it a good clean and degrease all the parts so it looks, well, it doesn't look brand new, it's 12 years old, but it looks semi-decent. Even the belly pan, you know, the bash plate, engine guard, whatever that is, gives the opportunity to clean it inside and outside. When the next time I'm gonna have it apart, you know, might as well take my time and have it done. Things like triple tree, that's all been re-greased. The bearings, the needle bearings, has been completely packed with grease yet again. I gave it a good clean to all the aluminium parts, painted all the metal parts, so it looks, well, again, not new because it isn't new, it's 12 years old, but it looks way better than it was before. I also had a number of parts that were beyond salvation. I couldn't clean them up, so I just repainted them, like them clamps for the headlights. They were a bit rusty. I took them all apart, primed them, paint them. They look as good as new. Just like these pieces. These are from a subframe, a pillion footrests, basically. They are clean, but they beyond salvation. I can't clean them anymore. They are, and they are rusty. They are rusty, they are dirty. There's one thing to do with them. Take them off, take them apart, and don't lose them little ball bearings that sit inside the pivot points. Clean them up, sand them down, and degrease them. Prime it. Paint them. Put them back together. And mount it back on a subframe. They look a lot better, I think. Well, anyway, that was the easy part. I'm gonna do a little bit of work on the exhaust today because it's just a bit nasty. I'm gonna just clean it up a bit, probably give it a good paint, and once this is all ready, I'm gonna start putting the things back on that frame. So the exhaust has been painted now. Yes, I need to bake it on, but it looks way better than it was. There's no rust, all's been neutralized. I went for the matte black for the main exhaust, just because the paint is super durable. It goes up to 800 degrees or something silly like this. The end can, I went with the gloss engine paint. It looks pretty decent, I think, and again the matte black on the tailpipe connector. Now I wish I could give you good news about the engine, as I just got back from the bike shop, but it's the worst case scenario. To cut the long story short, guys, I'm not gonna bore you with all the details. I was hoping I can get the engine rebuilt for 600, maybe 700 pounds. The top end is fine, so I was expecting replacing all the bearings on the bottom end, which you kind of expected, all the gaskets, other bits and bobs, plus some hours of manual labor, and I was hoping they're gonna be closed down in about 700 quid tops. Well, unfortunately, it is not the case. As I expected, the top end of the engine is fine. Don't need to be any work, don't need to be done to it. However, the gearbox is fucked. This is something that I was hoping there's not going to be any damage done to it, but that race and the bearings exploded, went back right there when the gearbox is, and especially the second gear assembly, that's completely trashed. There's some damage there. So they said you can put it back together and it will probably ride okay for a while, but it will prematurely wear all the other parts, which is not advisable, and I completely agree with that. So I'm in a bit of a pickle right now, because for my 600-700 quid I was hoping I'll get away with spending on that engine rebuild. The bill pops up for another near enough 500 pounds plus. We're looking at 1100-1200 quid depending on the time, plus all the parts and all the labor. It's a lot of money. It's probably double from what I expected to pay. Now that puts me in a little bit of a pickle, because funny enough I don't have that kind of cash laying around, you know. That's a lot more than I anticipated to spend, even though I was kind of bracing myself for that moment to come, but this is near enough double for what I wanted to spend. So not quite sure how I'm gonna deal with this next. The bike rebuild process is coming along really nicely, so I got a good momentum going on. I don't want to stop now. I need to kind of take a break and re-evaluate some things. I will keep searching, scanning eBay and Gumtree for second-hand gearbox, second-hand engine parts, bottom end maybe. There is a bit of a gamble there, buying second-hand engine, second-hand gearbox. I'm not quite sure how good the parts are, even if it's low mileage bike. I'm not quite sure what has been done to it, whether there's any damage, whether there's things are working. This is a bit of a risk. I'm not sure whether I'm willing to take that risk. Should I just rebuild the engine to be as brand new? I know 1100-1200 quid for engine rebuild is probably not a lot to ask for, but it's still a lot of money in my eyes, especially when you don't expect to pay 1200 quid. But don't panic, I'm not stopping and not giving up over here. I'm gonna put the bike back together as much as I can, obviously without the engine and without the wheels, but I got parts everywhere. I want to put it back on the bike, back on the frame, so it's kind of in one spot, so I don't lose things. And obviously that will give me some time to do some research. Maybe I can find some good second-hand parts, or maybe not. Maybe I'll go ahead with that engine rebuild and sell one of my kidneys to fund this. We'll see, time will tell. Don't stress, don't panic, I got plenty of other things to keep me busy. Hopefully this project will not be put aside for too long. Saying that, if you want any commissions done, any souls painted, any paint job done, now is the time to get it done by me, because I need that extra cash. On top of that, I've got a couple of other projects we're gonna do in between, and yeah, I promise you we're gonna revisit the DRZ very soon. One way or the other, I want this bike back on the road. I want it in a working condition, so I can't wait too long to make that choice. I need to sleep on it for a couple of nights, do some research, what I can find, and I guess we take it from there. Rock and roll, guys. Sorry I don't have better news for you, but unfortunately shit happens and then you need to deal with it. And on that beautiful and very positive note, guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, rock hard, have a beer, and we'll see you, me and the DRZ, I promise we'll see you together very, very soon.